Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models, and this is DeAgostini's Build Your Own X-Wing. Now, from the start, I'm going to make it clear that this is actually only a trial run. They've released 5 issues in the UK. It is available in the, apparently America and Germany, I understand, is a full run. But they've only released the first 5 issues of this. So this is issue 1. I'm going to do all 5 as this one video because, you know, just going to go through basically what we got and go from there. Now, in the magazine, we get lots of bits, loose bits floating around inside. Actually, just the one? No, 2 in there. Right. So we've got on sale, but not really issue 2 thing. Get your newsagent to save it for you. Subscribe today, never miss an issue, except we haven't actually launched any yet. There are free gifts, so a binder, a power bank, and some bookends that look quite cool. Even they probably won't look as good as that when they actually release them. There is also a premium subscription offer for only £2 extra per issue. So for £200 you can get this diorama display, which is like 3 or 4 guys, some cables, some boxes and a sled. That's pretty rubbish. I'm not going to be doing that at all, not a chance. I expect when it releases I will be subscribing to it, so I'll be getting the free, well, 1 free binder, but then you've got to buy another 3 or 4 of them or whatever. But yeah, it's not bad. So in the magazine itself, as well as the magazine, we got a series guide and a rather nice blueprint of the X-Wing itself, or the model of it, which is quite nice. I'll put that on the wall behind me at some point. So yeah, the blueprint's good. The series guide again opens out into a telling you what's coming, although it's not actually coming because we haven't actually released it yet. Check out all these amazing details. It's got a cockpit, it's got R2, it's got a couple of removable bits. So yeah, that's quite good. It's not as detailed as the R2, which is obviously a half scale. This is 1/18, this one. But the magazine is pretty much, you know, just ignore the magazine and get on with the building. So yeah, that will go off to one side as well. Right, onto the magazine itself. As ever with these, they fill it up with fluff and rubbish, and you know, I don't know that I've actually ever read any of them, but I've glanced through them occasionally. It's got, say, the artwork that everybody's seen. Obviously this one's going to be focused more on X-Wings and associated things. Luke Skywalker, and then we get to the build, which I've taken the plastic off of the top of the build. We've got cockpit canopy, cannon and astromech droid. So I'll get these pieces out of the box so we're not crinkling plastic, and we'll get on with assembling the cockpit canopy. So right, assembling the cockpit canopy looks to be one of the easiest things to build ever. Basically you take the 2 parts, line up the hinges, hook the hinges over the pins and press the parts together. So yeah, basically snapping together over there. It's quite a tight fit actually. It's a very tight fit. Push down quite hard on that and it's actually still not going in. So maybe it's just as well that these are only a test piece, because they're not that great. This is all plastic, which isn't, you know, plastic's good its places, but I would expect them to go in a little bit easier than they're making out that they are. There we go. If you can sort of twist it in rather than just trying to push it in. Right, there we go. The canopy opens and closes. What more can you say? It's a canopy, it opens. It's alright. Next up we're assembling a bit of the first laser cannon, so I'll get the pieces for that sorted out and be with you then. Right, we've got 4 parts, one of which we're not going to be using yet. This is the half of the outer cannon housing. You use it in the next part, so keep that safe, it says. there you go, that's safe. We've got these three. Now these two do seem to be metal tubes and a plastic sort of joining piece. Now looking at this, one end is darker than the other. It's sort of been weathered more, so we've got to make sure we get that the right way round. So that pushes into there, and that pushes into there. Not exactly rocket science so far. Well, it's sort of rocket science because it's a spaceship, but yeah, that's that. Not quite straight, but it's got some give in there. The finished laser cannon will be mounted on the top of a starboard S-foil. The laser generator contains a powerful LED provided in the next issue to simulate firing. So there we go. That's the first part of a laser cannon, which is not heavy, but it's got some weight to it. It's definitely, you know, metallic. So on to the next piece, which is assembling R2-D2's dome, which is pretty much the last bits of the part of the issue. So I'll get them and be ready with that. So on to R2. The moulding on this is alright. It's not great. There's some sort of seam lines that didn't seem to bother doing anything with. I say, once I finish the build to issue 4, I'll compare it to the previous issue 4 that I've had, and we'll see. The detail on the body is actually really good. I'm quite happy with that. That's not bad at all. Lots of detail in there, and the paint seems to be on quite neatly. No noticeable errors or marks on that. The leg again is fine, no trouble at all with that. It's just a shame that the dome is the one bit that's going to be sticking up out the top of the cockpit, and it's the worst of the lot. But maybe they'll improve it for the next bit. We'll see. Right, so it says we've got an LED there as well, which is obviously for R2, and a little plastic bit that I don't know about. It says start by identifying the 3 projectors as numbered 1, 2 and 3, conveniently on the sprue, not numbered on the sprue, but there you go. It says to snap the first one off the sprue. I'm going to try snapping. Actually, snapping seems to work. Don't need cutters for this particular bit anyway. So the first one comes off, and the first one goes into that bit of the dome that way round. There is actually, don't know, it's square, so it doesn't really show, but we're making sure it points off to the side that way. Quite a tight fit, so it doesn't need any glue on there. That's all good. Snap the second off the sprue and turn the page. Second one goes on the top of his head. Once again, you've got to get it the right way round, because otherwise it will be pointing off at funny angles. There we go. Quite nice. And I guess what, the third one we put around the back there. Again, making sure you get it the right way round. You can't quite see which way round that one's showing it is going, so try it the other way round. Either way, that seems to work, but let's put that blob bit over to that side like that was probably in the picture there. There we go. Those should look like this. You'll add R2-D2's coloured displays later on. So we've finished with the sprue. I'll get rid of that. We've got a head. It's you finish the first stage, keep the dome and the other pieces safe. So yeah, there'll be more bits to add on to him later, but basically it's going in like that, and then he'll sit on the body. So that's it for issue 1. I'll get the parts for issue 2 out now and stay right there. And immediately we have issue 2, which again, let's have a flick through. Don't miss out. New parts with issue 3. Rubbish. Right, something about modelling the X-Wing. Colin Cantwell. The old designs for it, that's quite cool. Biggs featured in this one. We've got the other subscription rubbish. And more pictures. Some good pictures into this. Yeah, laser cannons. Right, this issue we get quite a meaty issue. This one. This is a metal base plate, which is quite nice. It includes all the components to complete the laser generator that fits inside the first laser cannon. Also R2's left leg and the base for the cockpit, which will start to assemble over the next 2 stages. Keep the cockpit base safe for now until you receive the next set of parts. So I'll get these unwrapped and we'll start doing R2-D2's left leg. Okay, take all 5 parts of R2's leg provided with this issue. So we've got that one. Ooh, this is quite nice. This is life size. That makes getting parts much easier. Hope they continue with that. Right, I've got little bits here, so I'm using a pair of tweezers just to get those out. That one, and that one. Again, the painting and the detailing on these are quite good. I'm quite happy with that. Right, align the inner and outer leg, which have internal pins and sockets and things. So they basically just go together like that. Again, snap together without any need for glue. Press the 2 parts firmly together, push the shoulder, 2 lugs go at the top and the bottom. So again, that's pretty easy. And then that bit goes on to the recess on the back of that. Not sure why that needs to be a separate piece, but there we go. And then that pushes home onto there. A little bit harder than that. And that completes R2's left leg. Ready to fit to R2's body at a later stage. So yeah, noticeably the picture doesn't show it as painted, but obviously the real piece has the silver and the blue on there. So I'll put that aside with the rest of R2, and no doubt come back to him momentarily. Then we continue to assemble the laser generator. Right, we've got another LED with this one, which has a different wiring to the one previously, so even if you do dump them all together you won't get mixed up. So we've got the LED for the laser. Doesn't really show you what bits, so sort of guessing at the bits. Forward generator end cap. Looks like that colour, so I'll go with that one. Push that into there, and that just sort of sits there. Okay. Feed the wire past the pin. Again, not really showing you what the bits look like, they're just showing the insides of them. So that's not ideal, but that looks like one of them. So that will have to go there. And that bit from the other side. I shouldn't put that home there yet. Just got to get that on there, making sure the wire doesn't get squished around the pin. So that's that, and then you can feed that in. Keyed that in there. Feed the wire through the central union, which is apparently that bit. From which end? From that end. And again, there's a little keyed out piece that obviously has to go onto there. Noting the projecting lug. Yep, there we go. Take the rear end cap, which has a slot to match an internal lug there. So, yep, that on there. Again, that piece is where the wire comes out. So that just actually goes on like that with the wire sticking out the end. There we go. Take the 2 halves of the rear generator body, put them together. There we go. And that goes onto the end there. Cool. Two sections together, ready to go. Obviously we've got an LED on the end there somewhere. Can't see that anymore. Let's take that back out. Looks like that might not have gone in far enough. Let's try that again. actually got that sticking out a little bit on the picture, so let's push that through a little bit further. That looks better. Look more like the picture. So that's that, and that's actually issue 2 completed. The metal plate, it says to keep aside for later, so I'll get rid of that, get rid of the plastic, and yeah, good to go. Let's see what issue 3 brings. Right, I've got things a little bit more streamlined now. I've actually taken the cover off of the parts for this issue, and I've taken out the rubbish from inside it, but we'll still have a flick through and see what we've got happening inside the magazine. Once again, there's more behind the scenes filming miniatures. X-Wing went through 6 or 7 body changes. Talking about Poe, another X-Wing pilot, of course. Oh, turn over one page at a time. Right, then we're on to the build already. Get a free screwdriver. That will go with the other 3 free screwdrivers that you get with these builds that are pretty much rubbish. Might last, you never know. Right, component checklist. We've got laser cannon rear cap, front cap, other bits, laser cannon side tubes, a little bit more R2 leg, and I did notice a packet of screws that has a label on it. Well done, DeAgostini. You've learnt. You've put a pack of screws in that are all the same, and they have a label, a name on them, X-Wing 01. So well done. Hopefully that will continue on and we'll be able to build things more easily knowing what we're doing. Right, the first thing we're doing is assembling R2-D2's right leg. So I won't be using the screws for that, so I'll put them back there. Got fireworks going off outside as well, so excuse the noises. Let's get the bits that I need for this pulled out. That's those. We're going to need the bulb and the shell of the first leg that we had before. Right, now this leg we put the bulb through. So, making sure to slip it through from the right side with the the bulb goes the other side of that, so that goes through there like that. So that's on the inside rather than the outside. Feed the wires along the inside of the leg. Yep. And the contacts actually go down through the foot. So don't touch each other in the middle, but interestingly, they're not labelled differently. So does that mean they don't have to be positive and negative? LEDs need to have positives and negatives, I'd have thought, but doesn't say. It just says make sure they don't touch each other. That's interesting. So we're getting those into there. They're not touching each other in the middle. I'm putting that through a little bit more to keep that flattened down. And off with a pin. Okay, that looks just like that. The wires run up each leg without obscuring. Yep. Then I've got to put the outer casing onto there. Taking care not to trap the wires, it says. Doesn't look like I'm trapping the wires. And it's gone together. So I think that should be okay. And obviously you've got 2 silver circles on the bottom there, which we didn't have on the other foot, which is where the power for the LED needs to go in. Right, let's move those back out of the way, turn over the page and see what's next. See, missed that bit, but I did that anyway. Both are on push and firmly together. Put the pivot again through. The bulb has to go through there again. Pivot again, so that's up and down. Yep, that has an up and down on that. It's got one flat side on it. Right, we're putting the little cap back on the whatever bit that is on R2's foot. Never quite figured out what they're meant to be. Some sort of power relay coupling, something or other. Yep, that's on there. That goes onto the leg, exactly the same as the other one. The only difference being that this one's got wires going up it. There we go. And that is that one completed as well. Right, so that's that. Next up we've got cockpit assembly. Now I'm pretty sure there wasn't any of this on the last trial, so this is different and new. It's got little frame pieces that come up. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Take the cockpit base from issue 2. There are frames and screws supplied this time. There's one spare screw. So let's get this together. We've got that. We've got the packet of screws, and we've got several bits. There is indeed one marked R and one marked L, as there seem to be for all the other bits as well. Let's get the 6 of those out. Get 5 of them out, and one of them isn't coming out. There we go. Right, let's also open the screws. Without tearing through the very nicely named label that they put on it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to tip all them out. Actually, I'm going to try and leave one in there because they did say there was one spare. So I'll leave one in there. So we've got that there. So we've got 6 of them, and 6 things to do. I'm assuming that's one screw in each then. Largest frame size that there are on it. Fit it to the right rear hole this way round. Right, we're that way up because it's got lots of things on it. What's going on there by the looks of it? Just like that. Using a screwdriver, which is slightly magnetic. We're putting that in there. Alright, might as well tighten these up. So that screwdriver feels very flimsy. It's not as nice a quality as the previous ones have been. One of the screws from the packet, yeah, fit the smallest frame marked with an R. That's an L, that's an R. Put that there, and then that one down the front there, and then do the same on the other side. Yeah, it just says do that and then do that again. And there's more instructions over the page, so I'm just going to get these in now. Actually, I'll get them done off camera. It's basically putting screws in holes for all of the remaining 5 things, so I'll see you when that's done. Right, that's all 6 of those put in. I assume other things will go onto that at some point, but that's right. It's got some definite weight to it now, so that's quite nice. Move that to one side. And then we're assembling the laser cannon. So we've got the interior of the laser cannon that we did last time. We've got the large outside bit. And yeah, noting the 2 pins. They go into there. This is one of the things that I'm not sure about with this build, is they do these detail bits which are quite nice. They're not highly detailed, but they're all right. But then we're basically just covering it all up because we're wrapping that in that, which is nice and proper Star Wars worn and weathered, but I don't know, it's not something that is ever going to come apart again. So yeah, not too sure. Right, we're taking the rear end cap and putting that over there, which pretty much holds these together, I think. We're taking the little wiry things, and let's just pop it onto there. sliding firmly into place. We've got one little other greebly which goes onto the top of that, which way round. So that's on the inside. Cool. And then we've got the big tired, really knackered, worn bit goes onto that end, like that. Oh no, because they go into there. That's what you've got to line up. There's two other holes in there that these locate into, and there's two holes on the end of that that they should slot into as well. Have they? Not quite. Which way have they got to go? Just that way, just a touch. There we go. So that's that. Then we've got to get the barrel, and that pops onto in there as well. And there we go. That's looking good. I'm happy with that. It's alright, does the job. And that is the end of this issue. So we've got some of that, some of the cockpit, and a little bit more R2 done. And that's issue 3. So yeah, see you momentarily for issue 4. And onwards with issue 4. Now, I did have to find some batteries for this, and to make sure that my batteries worked, I did skip ahead, plug in the little test thing, and try my R2 foot. It didn't work. So I went back, looked through it all again, tried it again, it didn't work. I rewired the 2 pins in the bottom here the other way round, and now it does work. The little light comes on most of the time. The contacts aren't great, but so yeah, it doesn't matter which way around they go because it's an LED. Of course it does, but they're not helping. They're not labelling the wires at all or the points at all. So yeah, trial and error I think is the only way of getting that one right. So yeah. Anyway, on with the build. Issue 4, we have what we got: filming X-Wing action sequences, blue screens, things like that. Red 5's laser cannons, some close-up shots of that with obviously the spiral on 2 of the 4. Then we are putting a bit more of the cockpit base together. So I don't need the LEDs for now, so I'll put that to one side. We are bringing back out the base that we've got. 2 sides, which come this time. And we have some more screws, which are cunningly titled XW01 again, but they do seem to be the same screws, I think. As far as I can tell, they seem to be the same screws. So that's not too bad that they're sticking with their labelling system. I'm sure there will be other screws used throughout the build. Hopefully they'll give them a different number. I'm thinking it might be XW02, just as a cunning ploy. So I'm going to take the 3 of those out that I've got. I think there's probably only one each side, but one of the frames has an R for right, and one has an L for, you can guess what that one's for. Actually, yeah, it does. So we've got these that way around. We're putting the right one, funnily enough, on the right. Which way round does it go? It looks like they're holding that way round and that way round. And that goes in there somewhere. It's got to be like that, isn't it? And screws in one place. Oh, that's further forward than I thought. There we go. That goes there, and just one screw through there, holding that onto the rear frame. And guess what? The other one goes on exactly the same, but on the other side, holding on to the rear frame. Like that. So again, they give you one more screw than you need, which I'll put with the other one in the same bag. I'm not having 2 bags with 1 screw in each. There we go. That's that. And that obviously will hold together something else at the front, but at the moment it doesn't because it's, you know. But that's the cockpit coming together. Now we can complete R2. Let's have a look. What have we got? We've got a little bag full of little clear bits and coloured bits. Those two, which aren't anything to do with R2, are there the front of the gun, and some other bits of R2. So let's get all of them out. So we've got some bits for the gun, which are coming later, some bits for R2, which are coming now, and the coloured bits. And the other bits that we've got previously, arms, legs, other leg, other little plastic bit. That's all the bits I've got so far. Right, let's just lay them out so we can see what we've got. That one, tube in the middle, colour bits which I'll get out momentarily, a leg and a leg with a wire. Right, let's take the back of R2's panel, which is done just as nicely as the front actually, it looks just as good. And the little stick goes in there, just like that. Yep. Fit the leg without the wire onto that side. Yep. Mount the LED, there we go, into the, making sure it goes the right way up, which is that way. Cool. Then we've got to put that in. This is where it gets tricky. The LED's got to go there. Let's get that out of the way for now. The LED's got to go there, and the leg's got to go there, and the wire's got to sort of wrap up in the middle somewhere around. It's much too long. Okay, we're going to go with that, and then we're putting R2's front on. Now, I did just have a look around for the previous trial issue, and I've got it, but I don't seem to have R2 in it, so I'm not sure what I've done with my previous R2 that was obviously pretty much to this stage. Just trying to make sure you're clipping it down without getting the wire caught in it. So somewhere in my house I have an R2 basically that looks like this, but I don't know where he is. I'd be interested to find him, but I can't find him. I'll continue to look. I'm sure I'll find him at some point. Right, now in the bag here we've got 6 individual different tiny little pieces of plastic. So let's get this open and see, because then we've got obviously the 6 need to go in particular places on R2's little head. So there's none left in the bag, so I can get rid of that. We've got a tiny little one there. These are all obviously bigger than life size. We've got that, we've got the red one, we've got that one, and that one. Right, okay, there we go. That's the 6 pieces. How many of them are going to get lost with people building this? Right, so we've got, obviously let's start with number 3. Oh, you stupid people. Why do you label them like that if you're going to start with number 3? This goes into that big square gap there. Now obviously again you've got to get it the right way round, because it's got to flow with the curvature of the head. Let's get that way around. There we go, I think. No. Twisted. There we go. That's there, it's just got to go home a little bit further. That'll do. That's that. Right, now we do number 2, obviously. What do you do after 3? You obviously do 2, don't you? 3 goes into the little bit underneath the eye in there. Then we do number 5, of course, which is the big eye, and that has actually got a shaped lead in on it, so you've got to get it the right way around. And the right way around is like that. Cool. And then we do number 4 around the back, around the back, and the hole that I had my finger over. Again, getting the shaping the right way around so it's flush on the outside. Then number 6, which goes into the long slot there. Without dropping it, hopefully. Oh, 2's falling out. That's not a good fit. Might need to find a little bit of glue to hold that in. There we go, that's that in there, that way round. That way round. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm used to dealing with little things. I can't see everybody having great fun with these bits. Right, let's see. Does it show? Yeah, it doesn't really show you which way around that is to go. So I'm going to go with throwing it on the floor. No. That way work. That way might work. Yeah, that seems to work. So let's see about 2, see if I can get that back in there any better. Might have been that I didn't get it far enough in, or that just doesn't seem to be a great fit in there. DeAgostini. That isn't great, so I'm going to use a little bit of glue just to hold that in place. Might be an idea to do some of the others, but I don't want to interfere with the lighting. So we've got part number 1, which I haven't used yet. Has he got any other holes in his head? I don't think he does. Did I miss a bit on that? No, it's the right sort of size to go onto there, but that doesn't mention anything on there about it. It's probably on the end of the gun then, so I'll leave that off to one side. Yeah, there it is. Right, okay, so that's for the gun, so we'll leave that to one side for now. R2's head goes on there. Okay, and that actually feeds through to the bottom bit, so he can actually be rotated from inside the the cockpit. So let's try now and see how he lights up. He does, he lights up. Let's turn a couple of lights out so we can see him. There you go. There we go, R2 lighting up the little red light, orange one at the back, the slot there. So yeah, he lights up, that's okay. There's not too much bleed through, there is a little bit on the shoulders, but a little bit of tape has marked that up on the inside. So that's cool. R2's pretty much completed now, I think. I've done the batteries, that's what I did earlier, so yep, there we go. Now we've got to complete the first laser cannon. So we've got that there, which we've already done. Take the front cap. Is that telling me to take it all apart again? It is. Take it all apart again and paint some of it black. Okay. That's not clever, DeAgostini. They've obviously discovered that, oh, there is a problem with it. You might need to tidy up our work for us and paint some of it black. Expert tip, I'll tell you about that, but I don't bother telling you about R2. You might need the same thing doing. Right, so we've got that. We've got the fibre optic, which needs to slide through there. Cover the ends of the tubes. Right. So we trap the fibre optic in the little grooves there. Not very well, but there we go. And then that goes back in where it came from. So you've got to do this 4 times, obviously for each of the 4 lasers. You'll probably be getting good at it by the end. Get that lined up in the hole there properly. There it is. Okay, that's that. Right, then we've got the other end. It goes down there. Suppressors go over the end of that. Like that. And then they locate in there. Cool. One last bit. Goes on there, and that locates in around there. And then we get the little clear cap goes on the end. And I forgot the other end of the gun. It goes on there as well. Right, okay, that's quite cool. And then we can test that using the same tester just by plugging it in directly. The right way round, and we get a little bit of glow escaping from in there. At the end is actually lighting up again. Turn off a light. So again, the tip is glowing a bit, and that's loose. So that will also need some glue to hold that in place. Well, that's definitely going to get lost. So let's set a grip around there. But that's lighting up quite well. I'm happy with that. And that is that. Keep the completely cannon ready to fit to the ship later on. Don't be tempted to glue the parts, apart from the bits that you might lose, because you might need to realign it to get them aligned properly apparently. So that is issue 4 completed. Let me put the light back on. Now what I have got, I say, apart from the R2, I've got the parts from the previous test run, which is mostly the same. So the previous test run did only run to 4 issues. So although I've got one more issue to do on this, this is what I've got so far from that. So let's just, that's obviously the electric bit from that is the same. Let's start with the gun itself. Obviously they're slightly different. These were actually shaped on the first run, whereas they're not on the second. The shaping is different, the colour's obviously very different. The size of the end is smaller now, or sorry, bigger now, because it's that one that's the right one. But yeah, the length is slightly different as well. The new one is slightly longer. So I wonder if there were some scale issues. But yeah, that's interesting. Everything's just that little bit scaled up, a little bit larger. It looks like they did actually label the wires correctly as well. They didn't bother on this one. So yeah, that's interesting. I'll put them both to one side now. The Main canopy, yeah, again they've scaled it up. It's bigger, quite noticeably bigger, some of it. Obviously that's the old test run, that's the new test run. The detailing is the same, the colour's slightly different as well, but that's interesting. And the cockpit bit itself, yeah, that's very different to the same stage. I assume that's probably, I don't know, that way around. It's sort of misleading. I don't know exactly which way is which on that one. But that one is much more substantial, much bigger. Yeah, it looks like they had some scale issues on the first test run, so interesting to see if the actual run is the same or different again. Right, so that's part 4. There is a part 5 for this issue, so I'm going to get that out of the bag and we'll see what we got in there. Right, issue 5 seems to be a little bit more thrown together than the previous ones. The bits are in a bag, which obviously is labelled part 5, that's not a problem, but I probably find that part 5 is where they start to not make a big thing out of it. If anyone's subscribing to it, they're probably going to get it no matter what it looks like. They don't package all the parts out so they look nice and, you know, fill everywhere. So what have we got? We've got some plastic bits and a bag full of a couple of transparent bits and R2's third leg by the looks of it. So as ever, let's have a look at the magazine. We've got set building part 1, inside starships, so it's sort of stretching into, yeah, got Wedge, Imperial Cadet, a bit about thank you for collecting it. This is a regional release of 5 issues. National launch will be coming very soon. We'd like to offer you a copy of issue 6 free of charge. Please fill this in and send it back to them. So I'll have a look at that. What have we got? Precise control, more artwork, cockpit instruments, and the astromech droid. They're cockpit panels, cockpit front base, and R2's foot. So we're building R2's centre leg first. So let me get those bits to one side. Cut open the bag and see exactly what we've got in here. Right, the transparent bits are the instrument panel, so I'll be using those soon. We've got the leg, which we're putting together, so basically a centerpiece with 2 outside pieces. That's quite convenient, quite easy. Pop those on. There we go. And these, they go on the outside there. Now they're, interestingly, not painted this time around. These are just plain white plastic. So I wonder if that's a cost saving. We know it's not a full run, we'll just do them like this, or if they're not going to be painted. So we've got 2 of those, one either side. Eventually. Hopefully I'll get them lined up and put together. There we go. That's that. The results look like that. It does indeed. And that actually just pops on hexagonally to there. Not great. I'm not overly impressed with that. But, you know, so that's what you can use to turn his head. Whether that's what happens when he goes into there, I don't know. That's sort of disappointing, that. I'm not overly impressed with that. The instrument panels, what have we got? Again, oh, these have got some paint on them. We've got those which obviously have these bits that go into them to light up. Let's see, are they the same? They are the same but reversed. But these are slightly different shapes, so let's get them same way around as they are in the picture. That way around. That one goes in there. Just says to pop them in, so we'll just pop them in, shall we? Get that lined up in there. They're just transparent plastic, so no colours to those, at least yet. Whether there will be at a later date, guess we'll find out as and when it does go to a full run. Which goes in there, and that one does the same, just with one peg. Oh no, 2 pegs on there as well. So, yeah, they're okay. Actually, that one's not gone in there fully. This one's obviously a bit different because it's got a cutout for that. And it's not finished quite right along there. Remove that little bit of nub from around it. It's the only bit of tidy up I've had to do on this, so not so bad, but I wouldn't expect it. This issue is a little bit disheartening. And now that's gone flying. Right, I'll find that in a bit. So they go on there, and the outside looks exactly like it says it does. And they right, this segment shows a bit that we haven't got yet, but it goes inside there. So that goes in there like that, apparently, and they go alongside next to it. I've had the wrong side. There we go. No, it's got to be that side. Who'd have guessed? They don't quite. Oh, they're not meant to line up. There's a bit of a mismatch there as well. Anyway, so the right way around though. That helps. So that's that, and that's actually the end of the build. So once I find that bit and put that back in there, that's pretty much finished. R2, one laser cannon, canopy. So that's the trial issue of the Build Your Own X-Wing. The first 4 were nice. The 5th one slightly disappointing. I'm not happy with the way these feet join up. That will need some work finishing off. Unless they improve it again for the final release, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. As and when the real release does come out, I will be subscribing to it and getting it and starting the build properly. But this is just a little taster of how it's going to go together. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.